What's going on, guys? Vulkan here, and today we have some massive news for Diablo 4. So during today's Xbox showcase, we got a brand new look at Diablo 4 running on an Xbox, along with the final class and a release date. Now there's tons of cover, so let's go ahead and let's get into it. So first up, let's get the two big reveals out of the way. So the Necromancer is the final class, and it comes with some new skills. And I know a lot of folks are going to be happy because they like to play summon classes. So if you're a summoner type class person, this is definitely for you. Blizzard is going to do a deep dive into the Necromancer in their quarterly update coming tomorrow, and I will have a video overview once that's out. Now, oddly enough, there is no holy class in the game, so I wonder if that means we're going to see one down the line as a possible DLC or an expansion, or if this has story implications. Anyway, not sure, but we also learned that the game will be launching in 2023. But the big question is, when in 2023? Well, historically, Blizzard has preferred releases in the first half of the year. So with Diablo 1, 2, and 3 all launching before July. Now you have some other supporting evidence with StarCraft 1 and 2 both launching before the fall as well. Now World of Warcraft is really the only title that has traditionally launched September or later, so maybe this means we'll see Diablo 4 in the first half of the year, maybe it doesn't mean anything, and we'll just have to wait until holiday 2023. Right now it's anyone's guess, but I mean at least it's going to be next year, so that's positive. A lot of us were thinking 2024 at the earliest. So before we dive into everything else that was revealed, I did want to talk about a tweet from Adam Fletcher, who is the community lead for Diablo. So here's what he says. Diablo 4 is coming out as a full-price game built strictly for PC and console audiences. The game is huge, and there will be tons of content after launch for all players. Paid content is built around optional cosmetic items and eventually full expansions. We'll be sharing more info soon. Now, obviously, going off the previous Wyatt Chang interview where he played games with semantics to make it seem like Immortal wasn't full of horrible microtransactions, I'm going to take this tweet with a dump truck of salt. But if this is accurate and it reads as it should, then we can assume that Diablo 4 will be more of the standard type of game launch in the industry, with skins and DLC being the only things available in the store, and you don't have to drop hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars for legendary crests in order to progress in the game. And if that's the case, I'm all for this, right? I mean, this is exactly the way releases should be in today's market, so let's keep our fingers crossed for that. But until then, let's be skeptical. Okay, so back to the reveal and all of the details coming with it. So the first thing they shared was the fact that players will have choices to make. There isn't a single way to play the game. You can kind of go about it your own way, which I'm assuming means that we can explore and stumble upon multiple things like side quests, world events, treasure troves, all while we're kind of making our way to the main story objective. Now, they split this category up into several pieces. They started with character customization. So you're going to be able to create the hero of your dreams in their eyes, right? You can have the barbarian, rogue, druid, sorceress, or necromancer that you've always wanted instead of having to settle for the default male or female one. And I mean, for me, I'm always a big fan of intricate character creators. This is a big win. Players need to be able to make someone, or even sometimes something that best represents them, right? So next, let's dive into exploration. So throughout the world of Sanctuary, you're going to see things like demonic bastions known as strongholds. Now, these are locations that demons have claimed for themselves, and it does cast a shadow of darkness on the area. Now, once you go through and clear these out, it will bring a permanent change to the world, and these locations will become repopulated with non-demonic life. So things like humans, maybe plant life, I'm not entirely sure there. You do get some nice loot along the way, but the thing is, the loot's great, but that's not all. So clearing out these strongholds will also reveal new dungeons to explore and other hidden experiences that they didn't really go into, but they said there's going to be other very unique things. I'm assuming like vendors and things like that are going to be baseline, but being able to like uncover a new dungeon is going to be really, really cool. And speaking of dungeons, they did say that the game will have 150 detailed dungeons for us to clear out, all with their own objectives, different enemies, and each one should have different things for us to fight to give us sort of a little bit of a different experience. Not entirely sure on randomized layouts yet, but that is something that I think is going to be nice for us to go through. Now, on top of these strongholds, there's also going to be local events. and these are going to spawn for you out in the world. You can complete them solo, or you can go do them with a team, and these include world bosses roaming the landscape. Now, this plays directly into the shared world they talked about today. You're going to be able to see other players out in the world of Diablo 4. You're going to be able to team up with them near world bosses, near random events. Now, I'm not sure if you're always going to see them roaming around like you do in Diablo Immortal, or if they're going to dial it back and it's going to be more of only players in hubs and near events. I'm not entirely sure, we'll have to see, but for now, you will find other players out there that you can either team up with or just kind of pair up and do the thing and then leave. So it's really up to you. Now, if you're someone who likes PvP in Diablo, they talked about Fields of Hatred. Now, we learned about these last year, I think early last year. These are PvP areas. Now, when you enter these areas, you're going to be able to kill other players. And if you kill enough players, you're going to be marked as a champion on the map, and other players can track you down and kill you. There's going to be a bounty on your head. And if you are slain by another player, that player will get some loot rewards. So it's a really cool system and something that kind of incentivizes PvP a little bit for those who like it. And it doesn't have to only be, you know, kind of bragging rights. You actually can earn things from it, which I really like. Now, lastly, we get a glimpse of Endgame. Now, this is what I've been very curious about when it comes to Diablo 4. How are they going to compete with Path of Exile's maps? Because right now, Path of Exile is the king of action RPGs, and they are sort of setting the bar for Diablo in terms of here's what you need to have baseline in order to sort of usurp the crown, right? So what are they going to do to challenge that? We don't really know overall, but here are some things that they did reveal for us. So when you complete the last mission in Diablo 4, you're going to unlock Nightmare Dungeons. Now, these are transformed dungeons with added difficulty. They added new objectives. There's afflictions to the dungeon, which I'm guessing these are going to be similar to like Rift modifiers that we've seen in the past. They also talked about something called the Tree of Whispers. Now, that's an endgame system that's going to provide you with cycling world objectives and bounties that will reward you with legendary gear, experience, crafting materials, and more. Now, this sounds very similar to the codex that we saw in Diablo Immortal, minus the battle pass. So it's more like a series of refreshing objectives to keep you busy, send you to different places in the world, and really give you things to do. It's like dailies in World of Warcraft. That's the best way I can kind of describe it. Now, lastly, we have the Paragon board. Now, this is something that they revealed last year, and it gives players a form of progression. You can go out and find these new boards. You can kind of snap them together, create your sort of in-game build. There's a whole bunch of nodes that give bonuses. There's like major ones that'll augment skills and things like that. It's a very interesting system. I need to see more of it to really know if it's going to be something that it will work. But honestly, right now, anything is better than what we have currently in the Diablo universe. So all in all, everybody, I mean, this was a great update. It was something that I think we needed to see. We needed to have sort of reassurance on where Diablo 4 was heading, how the art style was evolving, how the game itself and the franchise was evolving. But really, for me, the real star of the show is the tweet from Adam Fletcher. Without that tweet, many people would assume this game would be just like Immortal, full of microtransactions, a mandatory store purchase every single day to keep up. Really just, it wouldn't be that great of an experience, and it'd be a true departure from Diablo, and people would write it off. But if that statement from him holds true, we might be getting back to how things should be with Diablo 4. But that's really it for this one, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video as well as the gameplay playing in the background. What do you all think? Thank you so much for watching. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you next time.